Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Stephen Parker, and today we're going to discuss 3 things that I don't want you to do when evaluating a multifamily property for investment potential. All right, number 1, I don't want you to rely solely on calculations and formulas that you've learned through books, online, on forums, and just by talking to other people. What I'm talking about here is like the 1% rule, cash on cash ROI, cash flow per door rules. Now, does this mean I don't want you to pay attention to calculations like the 1% rule? Absolutely not. I want you to pay attention to those calculations, but I don't want you to rely solely on those calculations as you evaluate a property. Now, if you don't know what the 1% rule is, I've got a video on that. You should go check that out. But basically what it says is if you buy a property for $100,000, your rent should be 1% of that price, or $1,000. Now, while a good benchmark calculation, it doesn't always work in the real world. I'll tell you from my experience here in Nashville, sometimes I'll find a property that is below the 1% rule, but cash flows like crazy. The duplex project that we recently bought for a little over $300,000, and we're gonna have to put money into renovation, so the price is definitely gonna go up from there. And if we're lucky, the rent may get to $2,800 per month, $1,400 on both sides. So that's obviously below the 1% rule. Now, I actually think the rents are gonna be closer to $1,300 or so per side, so we're gonna be even a little bit lower than that 1%. But when we go to refinance this deal, we should cash flow almost $1,200 a month. If I had just looked at the 1% rule when evaluating the property and said, nope, doesn't fit, I would have missed out on what I think is gonna be a great project. Now, if all of those plus any other calculations or formulas or rules of thumb that you're using all don't add up, maybe pump the brakes a little bit and see what's going on and see if this is really a good deal to get into. Number 2 thing I want you to not do is overcomplicate things. What do I mean by not overcomplicating things? I mean not getting stuck in your own head. I also mean get out of your head when you're talking about, I don't have a name for my LLC, haven't talked to an attorney, I don't have leases in place, I don't have a bank account set up, I don't have X, I don't have Y. You're going to have time to do all of those things. You just need to get started. Once you get started, you start to build momentum. So don't worry right now about an LLC name. You may not even need an LLC. Don't overcomplicate it and put these roadblocks in front of you. Focus in on the very important things. And the important things are getting financing and getting a property under contract. So when we talk about financing, let's not overcomplicate things. There are so many people out there who will give you money, and although it seems weird, you can get 100% financing through hard money, and you can also get 100% for your rehab. Now, it's gonna come at a higher interest rate. There's always going to be a lever that gets pulled. So if you get money without credit checks and without proof of employment, you're gonna have a higher interest rate. If you wanna get that low interest rate and go through the bank and work through their process of 30 to 60 days and jump through all of their hoops, then usually get the lowest possible interest rate. The number 3 thing that I wanna talk about not doing is don't go it alone. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that you need a partner, although I definitely recommend it. What I am talking about is getting someone that you trust to help you along the journey. So while they don't have to be a business partner on paper, you may not know someone who is in construction or who's a builder or who's a developer or who invests in those types of projects. But I guarantee you that you know someone who does. Do I know a roofer? And does that roofer know a plumber? And does that plumber know an HVAC guy or gal? And if you keep hearing the same name over and over, make note of that, because those are other people that you know and trust telling you that they know and trust this person, and that should be your first phone call. I'm lucky because my business partner is not only a guy I've known from high school, but a guy who has decades of experience in remodeling and construction. So honestly, I have a huge leg up on getting subcontractors to come out to our projects because he a lot of times knows people who either have extra time or who are looking for extra work. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and giving us a thumbs up. Not only does that help us out with the YouTube algorithm, but it also makes sure that this video gets in front of folks just like you who may be interested in this kind of information. Also, feel free to leave comments or questions down below in the comments section. I always look at those and I love answering your questions. Thanks again for stopping by, and I'll see you next time.